Hello and welcome to Daily Running NixOS. Today we are adding some plugins to Nixvim. First of all, we have the Nix flag that imports Nixvim, then we have the home manager with the configuration inside nixvim.nix modules, and then come the plugins. I don't know which plugins yet. I will find out, I'll do some research, so sit back, relax, and see you after the intro. Alright, let's add some plugins. First of all, we have to open the plugins object. Don't forget to close it with a semicolon. Then we will add the LSP. LSP stands for the Language Server Protocol. This is kind of a standard way for editors to talk to a language server to get completion, diagnostics, go-to definitions, rename, and per language, and so on. So this starter block that we create just has a few settings for the LSP. This doesn't work, it should just indent it automatically. I will see if it works later. But first off, we enable the LSP. Pretty simple. Enable true. Then we add some servers. I looked them up beforehand on the internet. I'm not sure why they are called differently, but Volar is for Vue, because I use a lot of Vue also at work. Then we have the TS server. This is for TypeScript. Then we have a CSS LS. This helps with CSS and SCSS. Then we have Intel events.enable. This is for PHP. And there is a JSON ls that we also .enable. Then we have some JSON stuff. I also need one for Lua, because tomorrow I start my advent of code if you haven't seen, and I probably will use some Lua. Then we have Nixd. This is really cool. This is for Nix. And I hope that I see some effects later when I'm editing this. So I've been researching the plugins a little bit more, and I realized that not every plugin is available as Nixvim plugin. So first I want to focus on whatever I can do with Nixvim natively, and then if something is missing I will add it manually otherwise. Okay, after a few failed attempts I've arrived at something functional. So I've added my favorite color scheme. It's Tokyo Night Moon. It just has kind of a nice contrast and is a nice dark mode. So we have the plugin called Dashboard. The theme of it is Doom. I've not looked at many, I've just picked one because I've spent so much time trying to get it to work. I've made a simple header. Maybe I will spend more time on it, maybe not. Then we have a few icons that use Telescope, which is not installed yet, but I will add it soon. And there are the icons with different functions. For example, the Q is just QA, and then there is a footer. So that is all. There's a color scheme. And now I think since we talked about it, let's add Telescope. Now underneath the color scheme, we add Telescope. It's also available in Nixvim, that's why I chose it. First we enable Telescope. Then we add some extensions, and that's the FCF native, and that is just a fuzzy native sorter. I'm not sure what alternatives we have or what other extensions exist, but for now I'm just going to use this and nothing else. Then inside the settings, you reset some defaults. For example, the layout config. We take the prompt position on top. Then the sorting strategy is ascending. I'm not sure if people use descending. I prefer it ascending. Because you write on the bottom, I think. No, the prompt position is on top and it's ascending. I'm not sure. I've confused myself. We'll see if it works. Then we allow the picker to find hidden files like dot files. Add a comment so I know what it is. Find show dot files. And the settings should be closed there. And before we finish this up, we want to enable the FCFF native. So this builds the FCFF native extension, just so I can remember it. I'm going to rebuild and see if it works. So I was wrong, we don't need this FCF enable at all. This enable up here does that already for me. Okay, so I was wrong about how to call the FCF native stuff. So you have to get it by extensions.fcf native. Then enable it, set a few settings like fuzzy override, case mode with smart case again, so it's not case sensitive. The settings as before. And now, hopefully, save and quit and build. So I fixed the problems, maybe, or most of them. It is a little annoying. It feels like every rebuild or everything that I add, I have to fix problems. I'm not sure if it's me or if Nixvim is just a little hard to work with in the beginning. But now that we have Telescope and Dashboard and an LSP, we might have to add some more keymaps. So I'm just going to create something for Telescope. So here we have the the mode out of n with the key of leader ff, and the action will be we send a command for Telescope that is called find files. And then we enter, and that's it. And for the options, I think it's just options silent equal true. So that's the first one. It's just to find files. And the next one, I'm going to copy the stuff from up here down there. Yank, paste, delete that line. Okay, the next one would be leader FG. And FG stands for live grep. So we have telescope, and here we do live grep. It is. That's all we had to change here. Then I copy even more, because I'm getting lazy. Here we paste it in FB. The command is again telescope buffers. We yank this, paste it in. Combination would be FH. And here we do tags. We rebuild and test it. And it's open. So let's test it. We have leader key FF. How do I navigate inside of them? With the arrow keys? Oh, I do not like that. I don't want to use arrow key. Okay, but the FF is for files. I could probably also look for... What do I want to look for? Audacity. No, it's just file names, huh? What about the live grep that we have? FG? Audacity. Oh, look at this. Enter, and we're in the file. Oh, that's wonderful. Let's go back to Nixvim. Oh, feels so good. We have these. I think we should add some keymap for the LSP as well. Okay, look at the new LSP keymap definitions that I made. First, we have GD. GD jumps to the definition via the LSP. So if you have a function that you've defined somewhere else, you jump to that. Pretty simple. And I think it's F12 in VS Code, so you can imagine how it works. Then we have GR. GR lists the references that are under the cursor, of the symbol under the cursor, or the attribute, the variable, or whatever. And then we have big K. And the uppercase K shows you the docs. So if there's a comment above a function or something, you can see the description of it, or similar things, depending on what you're hovering. Then we have leader RN, and this renames an attribute or a variable or a function, and I think it would also rename all the references, I'm pretty sure. So those are the basic things that you kind of often need. You just have to remember them, and that's the hard part. That's the training part. So we have a few very basic plugins in here right now. First, we have the LSP with all the commands that we should look at, that knows a few languages that I use regularly. Next, we have Telescope. And in Telescope will just help us find files. We've defined it on the keymap leader FF to find files, FG to grep, just full text search. Then we have leader FB that looks for buffers. I don't remember right now what it was. And leader FH that just shows help tags. We can try it. FB. Oh, those were the last searches. Now I understand. Okay. Currently we in total only have 2 plugins and a color scheme. I don't really count this as a plugin, I think. So I think I still want to add a Git plugin. And then I still want to add the indentation lines, because I find it hard to read sometimes, especially in Nix or in Nixvim, because you have really long configs sometimes. And I think for that we have Lua line or something in Nixvim. I'm gonna look it up, and I'm going to skip fast forward so you don't have to see me struggle with Nix. So see you soon. Okay, I have arrived at a state that I can show off again. Let's start at the keymaps. Keymaps are still the same as they were before mostly. Here's Telescope. Then we have Gitsigns. I've looked at different things of Gitsigns, but I just want to have the preview hung because I think it's kind of cool. When I am here, for example, and I change this for P, write it, and then we go leader LP. We see the preview of the changes. I just like that. And that's all that I'm expecting of this. So go back to N. Let's see if this also has the change. No, it doesn't. It just doesn't show anything. Good. Now, Lazygit. I installed Lazygit because I wanted to have a TUI terminal user interface for Git. Because if I just have commands, I tend to get confused with merging and so on. So I need this. I will show this later on. Then LSP stayed the same. Dashboard, I put in here false just to test it now. So let's give it true. Keep that for now. We're going to come back to that soon. Then we have Gitsigns. I added Gitsigns just for the little hunk preview for the changes, and Lazygit and Lua line we already had. And you might see there are commit messages. 15 minutes ago, 1 hour ago, with the timestamp. The timestamp is basically the commit message that is automatically generated when I build. But if I would have a proper commit message, there would be one. Telescope we already saw, I think. If you go to the top, there you see a commit message on the bracket on line 2, 22 days ago. added Nixvim. So cool. Let's get into Lazygit. Leader LG for me. And here we see status, I'm on the master branch. Then files. We have one file to change. With spacebar you can directly stage it, but I wanted to step into it. I think with page down and page up you can scroll there, or you can go in with enter, I guess. Hung selection mode is not default. Yeah. Then here we can select single hunks, so you just press spacebar, and then we have this. If we want to remove that hunk again, we just have one hunk, that's why it's a little bit annoying to show. You can press spacebar again and it's unstaged. If you want to go out of this, back to the menu on the left, just press escape button, and here I just press spacebar and it's staged. We could also stash it, as you see on the bottom. I'm going to use the mouse for once. You can also stash it with S, you can discard it, you can completely reset it, or you can just add question mark. Then here you see all the options, and it's so powerful. I think I haven't even scratched on the surface of Lazygit. I'm amazed. It's such a cool plugin. So I'm going to commit, then this wonderful thing opens. First commit with Lazygit. If I could write it, Lazygit, yes. Press tab to toggle focus. Can I just commit? Oh yeah. I am writing a proper description because it's so important. Press enter or CS to submit. What is CS? I'm just gonna press enter. Okay, that's a problem. Shift enter, shift S, no. That's a problem. If I just press enter here in the summary, then it does it. Okay. We see the master has this new commit on top of it, still locally. So the head is on master. If you go to the commits, we see the last commit that I did. You can squash them, you can fix up, you can reword it. Then on stash, there's nothing. So if you go to the local branches, does it help me? Oh, I could just check out other branches, it seems. New branch with N. How do I base a branch on another branch here? Question mark. Branch, copy branch, I have to clipboard, new branch, and I'm sure there's an option, but now we have to push. I'm still just committed. Okay, you can press shift and plus to increase the sizes of the floating windows, but let's get back to this size. And how do I push? I thought it was P, but P is pick. Apply fix-up commits, create fix-up commit, no. Amend reword, oh, it's nice that we have a reword. Then global, push, okay, big P, uppercase P, push, oh. So cool. If we go to the local branches, we see the commit is also on origin master, so on the remote branch. Let's quickly create a new branch, test branch. So if I want to create a branch based on this test branch, do I check it out? Test branch 2. Where could I see? I could only go to this commit pane, make it full screen with shift 1 or shift plus, and I don't have any other branches and merged around, so I don't see a lot. But it's nice. And deleting a branch. How do I delete the branch? Oh, it says it right there, back down there. Delete with D. Delete local branch. Delete local branch. And we're done. So leaving this menu. My guess is the escape button. I guessed wrong. The Q button. Okay. Wow. I'm amazed. So there's one last thing that I wanted to add. So if I skip through this page, there are a lot of options in there. Then there are a lot of keymaps, and now we arrive at the plugins, and there are not that many plugins, but still, it's a lot of code. It just goes down and down, and we are now at line 223. So I think for now I'm content with what I've added to Nixvim, but there definitely is room for improvement in terms of what plugins that I could use. Right now this is the minimum setup with Git and everything else that I need. Yeah, I think I have to split it up for the keymaps and the plugin itself. Maybe create some sub modules. Not sure what is possible with Nix. I'm sure it is possible. Might be something that I have to find out. One more little thing. As you can see, we have wonderful little lines now. Oh, it makes such a difference. I don't know why it didn't work before. I think I had some weird sign problem with these lines that you can see here, but it uses this indent black line. It had to be in here as a string, not sure why. I don't know half of the things that happen here. Not sure why I have Lazygit in here normally and then indent black line is no idea, but it works. And it's beautiful. And I think with that, this video is done. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any things to add, if I messed something up or you saw something that could really help me, please leave a comment. And if not, see you soon. Have a good night or morning. Bye bye.